Evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's now 6 p.m. on December 9th, 2014. Town Board meeting is called to order. First item is to say the Pledge of Allegiance, if you join me. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 2 is approval of the agenda to the meeting. Is there any changes? Hearing none. Item 3, approve minutes from November 11th, 2014 Town Board meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve November 11th meeting.
Motion Patty.
I'll second it.
Second Dan. Is there any corrections or changes? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Item 4, public comment period. People wishing to address this board be limited to, or the public I should say, will be limited to 2 minutes each, with the public comment period to not to exceed 30 minutes. Anybody in the audience wish to speak to? Yes, Mr. Het.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I see on a lot of these agenda items they define a dollar value for the item, I guess, but some of them don't. So you got a dollar value for some of the ones that aren't budgetary impact type of thing. I'd like to hear what they are about. I guess.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to speak.
Kathy?
Do you want me up there, or can I just do it here? After having time to think about the comments made regarding the fire department at last month's budget meeting, I'd like to share some additional follow-up and feedback. The ladder truck was not part of the fire department's wish list. It was an approved agenda item from the September 9th town board meeting, with the decision that the funding source would be identified during the budget process. It's not unusual to have a capital outlay request such as that at a regular town board meeting. In fact, we acted on purchasing a leased grader for nearly $202,000 at the June 10th town board meeting. $30,000 was indeed added to the 2015 fire department operational expense, but that was for DOT corrosion repairs explained and approved at the August 26th town board meeting, and having not been completed in 2014, the work was postponed to 2015. When you remove the reference to the ladder truck and corrosion repairs, the fire department wish list was only $205,000. $150,000 of that was for reserves at the suggestion of one supervisor during our first fire department strategic planning meeting, where he proposed that we intentionally budget all or some of the contracted fire services revenue towards capital outlay. In the end, that $150,000 request and another $14,500 for turnout gear and handheld radios was cut, leaving less than $40,000 approved for the department. I appreciate that one resident expressed concern with how our taxes would likely increase if we didn't have a fire department. I believe he is right. In 2015, we levied about $237,000 towards fire protection services, which includes operational expense, capital outlay, debt service for the ladder truck, less contracted fire protection revenue. If we had no department and contracted for fire protection services, it could be as much as $360,000 to $430,000 levied. That is based off of charges assessed to the City of Nekoosa and the City of Pittsville from their respective fire departments. I share all of this with you now because I was not prepared to respond at the dramatic opposition to the budget last month's meeting. During our budget meetings, there was a much more civil approach to addressing departmental needs, which included a unanimous motion to use debt service towards the purchase of the used ladder truck for the fire department. Lastly, I was wrong to say there was a disrespect of the fire department by a majority. In fact, there are only a few individuals whose choice of words or actions fuel distrust and insecurities about their department and the future of our town of Grand Rapids. I know I don't stand alone when it comes to appreciating our employees, our officers, and our volunteers. We have outstanding police and fire departments, a dedicated public works crew, strong zoning ordinances, and knowledgeable staff. We work diligently as a board to keep the taxes low and to maintain all of those services for you, the town residents, the town taxpayers. I appreciate the vote of confidence by those of you who did approve a levy last month that allows us to continue with that work. Thank you.
Is there other comments? Any other comments? If not, I'll call the public comment period closed and move on to Item number 5, which would be the monthly reports from departments. First one on the list tonight would be the Fire Department, Chief Don Bone.
Good evening, town board, town residents. For last month, it was a slower month for the fire department in some respects. We had 17 calls for service. Only 11 of them were EMS calls. Happy to hear people weren't calling for an ambulance as often. We had 4 motor vehicle accidents, more than likely due to the increase of our friends the snowflakes that came back. People are not used to driving in the snow. We've had quite a few minor and some fairly severe accidents in the snow. We had 2 structure fires for the month. One of them was a detached shed out in the town of Grant. Did occur actually during our training meeting, so we had a relatively quick response on it, and due to the actions of the homeowner throwing snow on the fire, kept it knocked down until we got there to get it extinguished. This Saturday morning at 20 minutes to 1, we had a structure fire in the vicinity of 64th and Helke. Very serious call. The 2 residents in the house were able to get out. Took in a lot of smoke, barely got out of the house. House fires start in a very quick hurry. I guess I got some pictures I'd like to pass around because I don't really know if the average person has ever seen a fire. How many people have been in a fire? Okay. I guess this is far from the 70 pictures that we took, but I'd like to let people see the type of environments that these houses turn into in a matter of time. Like you say, the call came in at 0040, which is 20 minutes to 1 in the morning on a Saturday morning. The majority of us were probably in sleep. To let you know what type of dedicated firemen we had 2 officers on scene within 8 minutes of that. That's waking up from dead sleep, getting dressed, out to our vehicles, drove to the scene in 8 minutes to start assessing what was going on. 2 minutes after that, we had an engine pull up with a full crew. That's 5 more members that drove from their house, got to the fire station, got their gear on, reported to the fire scene, and were able to get out of that truck fully ready to go in to fight a fire. People were standing in the roadway in their socks. I take that back. They didn't have socks, in their bare feet, in shorts. We were able to get them into a police vehicle to give them some comfort. We got a crew established and sent the crew into this house. The house fire, most of the time we couldn't even see the house, the smoke was so thick in the road. We couldn't even see anywhere around the trucks. We couldn't see where we were walking, what we were getting into. A 3-man crew, 1 captain, 1 lieutenant, and a firefighter entered the structure. With the aid of a thermal imager, we were able to determine that the majority of the fire was down in the basement. Going into a basement fire is probably the most scary thing you'll ever do as a fireman. And they went down into that house fire, extinguished the fire that was down there. Like I said, the basement was basically gutted. The second story, or the main floor of it, you'll see the plasma TV. Melted right to nothing. Anything on the first floor that was melted, that was above 3 feet off the floor, was melted, just gone. I guess these firemen put their life on the line. Those 3 firemen were compensated $15 apiece for going to do that call. I guess if that is the type of dedication that you expect out of our fire department, I hope God forbid I ever have a fire at my house, God forbid anybody ever does. It happens on a daily basis. These firemen will respond, they'll do what's necessary. We did utilize mutual aid that night. We had 21 of our own members there, had mutual aid departments from 4 or 5 other departments, and were able to save a lot of the possessions, but the biggest thing is we saved the people's lives. They were able to get out of the house. I guess I agree with Kathy, some of the comments that were made. The morale of my fire department is getting beat up tremendously, and I would like the public to understand the things that are being said, and understand the value of a fire department, understand the consequences of when a fire department is run into the ground. Thank you.
Any questions of the chief? Not, Safety Department report, anything new?
Nope, we had no safety issues at all. We successfully made it through the night. Nobody was injured. Massive amount of salt out, or salt sand we had to bring in with the ice conditions that were created that night, but that and none of the other personnel had any safety issues.
Are they using the ice cleats that you provided?
If you guys had them on, yes.
I was just gonna ask that.
Good. Any questions of the safety? Not, thank you very much. Police Department, Mel Peterson. Chief Mel Peterson.
Good evening, everyone, town board. Grand Rapids Police Department also had a relatively quiet month. Month of November, we handled 307 calls for service. This is compared to 377 last year, so that's about a 19% decrease. Town board members should have a breakdown of those calls. There was 7 written warnings, 5 municipal ordinance citations issued, and 35 traffic citations, and also 12 reportable accidents investigated for the month of November. November 20th, Officer Kubishik attended a coordinated community response networking event up in Wausau with members of the Wisconsin Rapids Coordinated Community Response Team. This was training that included breakout sessions in building effective CCR teams, development of a thriving domestic violence and sexual assault coordinated community response, and monitoring dangerous offenders. Explored the fundamentals of CCR, key elements to strengthen cooperation and build member capacity, and in meaningful ways that will address domestic violence and sexual assault. The Grand Rapids Auxiliary, they're continuing to move forward with their Helping Hands initiative for the holiday season. Town of Grand Rapids businesses and individuals have donated over $775 for this cause, which will benefit several underprivileged families in the town. Donations are being used to purchase Christmas presents for the kids, clothes, basic needs, and food for these families, so they'll have a little better or a little more enjoyable holiday season. I know at the last meeting, town chairman had, wanted to announce when the actual gift wrapping will occur, and that gift wrapping session will be here at 6 p.m. This Thursday night. So anybody that's interested and wants to help wrap gifts, the help will be appreciated. We should have a good turnout by the auxiliary, but the more hands we have wrapping, the quicker it'll go. The vehicles in the department are doing well outside of normal maintenance. And anybody have any questions?
Quick question,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman. Your numbers that you give us, does that include the calls that the fire chief alluded to where the police officer was on the scene and assisted?
Right. Generally, those fall under the assist other agencies.
Okay.
Any other questions? No, thank you very much.
I got one more quick statement I'd
Okay.
like to read, if I could, please. The Grand Rapids Police Department, excuse me, I got a written statement here, so I'd like to just read it. The Grand Rapids Police Department recently had a very unfortunate and tragic incident here in the town of Grand Rapids. On Thursday, November 6th, one of our officers was dispatched to a call of a dog running loose in the area of Airport and 20th Street South. Our officer was able to locate the dog and was attempting to contain it until the Southwood County Humane Society could arrive and take the dog to the shelter. As our officer was attempting to coax the dog over to him, the dog suddenly attacked, and the officer had to shoot the dog to protect himself. The officer was not physically injured, but obviously he was very emotionally affected by the whole incident. The dog was not wearing a collar or tags and was taken to the Southwood County Humane Society to be scanned for a possible microchip. The Humane Society reported back that the dog did not have a microchip either. The owner of the dog did come forward later in the day and unfortunately I had to deliver the very sad news to that dog owner. This incident really drives home the need for all dog owners in the town of Grand Rapids to make sure that they come in and obtain a license and collar tags for their dogs. This is an annual requirement per town ordinance and shall be done at the time of payment of personal property taxes. Once you have the tags, ensure the tags are attached to the collar for identification purposes and make sure the collar's on the dog or on the animal. In addition, please consider microchipping your pet for identification purposes. This is the most effective method for shelter workers and veterinarians to identify your pet. This service is provided by the Southwood County Humane Society. Finally, we respond to a large number of animals running at large complaints each month. Pet owners should make every attempt to keep their pets contained within or on the property to avoid having them running at large. When your pet gets loose and finds itself in unfamiliar surroundings, it can get disoriented, confused, and scared. It is hard to predict how they will react when approached by others. Even the mildest mannered pet may react uncharacteristically when put in unfamiliar surroundings because they have wandered off. If we all make a concerted effort to keep our pets safely contained at home, my hope is that we will never have another incident like the one on November 6th, and we can reduce the number of animal at-large complaints that we receive every month. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. All right, moving on to the regular agenda items. Item number 6 is approval of Resolution 2014-38 adopting the town budget.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion to approve resolution number 2014-38 as presented.
I will second that.
Motion Kathy, second Dan. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Bill.
I will be voting no on it, as I did the last time on the budget.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Yes, I'll also be voting no for the budget. I believe that the budget, I know we worked really hard on this, and it is a balanced budget in the eyes of an accountant or a CPA, but I think that the budget is very swayed in certain areas. And as an example, for the total of the buildings that is in this budget is $30,500, which $21,000 is for utilities, and that only leaves like $9,500 to fix the buildings and that. So I don't think that it's balanced like it should be as far as all departments getting the fair share of things.
Any other comments?
Can we ask a question on that? 9,500, the concrete was more than 9,500.
Right, this is the, that's for capital outlay. This is just for the budget that is allowed or given to the buildings to be utilized. So for instance, if you look at the way that the budget is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but if I'm looking at this,
That just seemed,
right, well, the concrete was $40,000, or excuse me, I believe it was $40,000 that was originally given.
It was cut to 25.
25,000, that's right,
Discussed
it was 40 and then was cut down to 25,000. But if you look at, and that was put in as a capital outlay, which that is going to the building as far as just a project. But if you look at just the regular expenses for the building, on the individual line items,
okay.
that's all that is there extra, to be able to handle anything that would come up on the buildings.
But we haven't spent more than that in the past years. The other items are put into the budget as capital improvements, capital outlays.
Yeah, I would say that's the most significant expense is the capital outlay types of requests for any department, including public buildings. when there are projects that are out there, and, you know, I respect that you have a differing opinion, but every year you will not have equal consideration to the differing departments. I mean, last year, how many millions did we spend on Town Line Road? It's every year there's a department that comes in higher than another department because of the different needs that are brought to the board.
And like, for instance, this year around $70,000 was cut out of the budget for the roads too, which I feel we should still keep that in there. So I mean, we're not gonna hash this over again because this is.
No, we're gonna,
But
you're right,
I'm
Pat.
just saying,
But-
you know.
But you gotta still remember that we have a $100,000 loan for roads, which is paying off part of Town Line. So indeed, if you looked at what the road budget is, if you include that $100,000 loan payment, because that was roads, we had still ended up with $330,000 for roads. So I mean, so we significantly have it, but you know, we try to budget what we can. Buildings, as they have needs, we need to address them. I'm never one just to budget for something in case we're gonna need the money. I need to have reasons to budget for something, and that's the way I do. Is there any other discussions before we go to vote?
I just have one quick question then, because it was clear Bill did vote opposed to the levy motion at the public hearing, but I wasn't clear yours, Patty, because I watched the camera and you had raised your hand approving the levy, and then you acknowledged something and you lowered your hand, and so
Right.
you
I did
were
not,
or were
right,
not
no,
in favor of it.
I was not in
Okay.
favor of it.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion on the motion to approve the budget? If not, those in favor of the budget as approved by the residents, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed?
No.
Two opposed, so two people against the
Resolution.
resolution. Thank you, that's what I was trying to say. All right, approving working agreements of police chief, clerk, fire chief and treasurer. Those are set to as we work through all the processes. So is there anybody to, either any quick discussion on it, or is there a motion to approve the contracts as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the contracts as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion Kathy, second Patty to approve the working agreements. Police chief, clerk, fire chief and treasurer as presented. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? Motion all carries, so we'll need to sign those later, ladies and gentlemen. Next one is item number 8, it's the collective bargaining agreement between the Teamsters Union Local 662. Very short contract because of Act 10, and the payment increases, what was it,
5.7.
1.57 was the allowable increase to their wages this year.
Mr.
Motion to
Chairman, I'll
approve
make a motion from,
motion by Bill,
I'll
second by
second it.
Dan. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed.
Attaboy, Arnie. Flip him through them.
Approval of Town of Grand Rapids signing a contract with Wiscor LLC for pre-hiring screening. That is a no-cost agreement. You have a memo on it from Kirk Willard from the Police and Fire Commission, and Chief is also in favor of this. It's pre-screening of potential, whenever we need to rehire any officers, that they will do some of the background checks that we've in the past have spent several thousands of dollars on. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Any other thing you want to add to it, or that I'm?
It's pretty much a win-win situation for the police department. They do all the initial screening, background checks,
Testing.
testing. Then they will submit their top candidates for that position, and then What's good about it is then we can do our own interviews and we have the final selection authority on who we actually hire. And like Chairman said, it's no cost to the department, and Wisconsin Rapids is signed on with them, and there's they're taking on new agencies almost every week. Mr. Peterman, the representative from Wisconsin Capital, was actually going to be here tonight for any questions if he had any, but he's over in the Fox Valley area handling some departments over there that want to get a selection process started before the end of the year, so he was kind of tied up. He called me earlier this afternoon and said he wasn't going to be here, but it's pretty much a win-win situation for us.
I think you guys have pretty much done your background on it and you understand what the process is. So is there a motion for or against to approve this?
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
Okay, motion Dan, second.
I'll second.
Kathy, any further discussion? Bill?
Yes, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How long have they been in business?
They've been in business, let me see, probably a couple of years now. I've got one of their brochures here, let me see if it's on that.
I think you're right, they're from the Fox Valley area.
Right. It's, Mr. Peterman has been in law enforcement basically his whole career, and he retired from that, both not only in law enforcement, but also in the correctional realm. And he was, he saw the need when he retired of having this type of service available, and he's got it off the ground, and it's moving forward for him very, very nicely.
And you did say we, meaning the Police and Fire Commission and yourself, will have the opportunity to pick who you people want.
That's correct, yep.
Thank you.
All right, any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed, thank you very much. And we gotta sign that later on.
Yeah.
You got the copy you want. Okay.
Right, just print at the end of the night.
Item 10, approval of contract with Bomar Appraisal for $16,200 for the town assessor for the year 2015. I think this is the first rate increase he's had in the last few years, is that correct?
Oh, yeah, at least as far back as 2012 he was
Yeah.
that.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract.
I'll second.
Motion Bill, second Kathy. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed, thank you. Item 11, approve $15,225 to be paid to Southwood County Humane Society for a 2015 contract.
I'll make a motion to approve $15,225 to be paid to Southwood County Humane Society for 2015 contract.
Motion Kathy, or Patty, second Arnie,
Aye.
or Bill, go ahead Bill.
And then I have a question.
All right, the motion has been made by Patty, seconded by Bill, and your question, Bill.
Hey, this is a reduction, didn't it come in at 16? And
Came
then
in
we
at 15.5.
15.5, and we reduced it because we're gonna do some advertising for them in our newsletter.
Which you'll get that news shortly, right, Chris?
Yes.
We won't steal your thunder till
I'm gonna
later.
mention
How's-
something about that at the end.
Yeah, I know. We figured you would. All right, no further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Thank you. Item 12, approval of contract for $5,650 Shank for our town financial review. That's the proposed fees for the general town review, which they've been doing in the past.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion by Bill,
I'll second.
second Dan. Discussions? Yes, Bill?
And you said this is a review.
Right.
This is not the audit. The audit is different, or is this every other year?
This is what was budgeted, was the review.
And if we want to do an audit, we'd have to budget more for it the following year.
Thank you.
This is prescribed by law statutes that this type of approval with our dual system of signatures, it's the proper way they find it. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? Item 13, approval of $34,956 to be paid to Alexander Airport for 2015 support.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion Bill, second
I'll second that.
Patty. Any discussion? We'll talk about that in the other part of it, Bill. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all say aye.
Aye.
All in favor say aye. I'm an aye, any opposed? Motion is carried. Item 14, approval of contracts with the Horton Group for Towns Vehicle, Volunteer Fire Department Accident and Sickness, LOSA, and Liability and Workman's Comp Insurance. And the totals we do not.
Well, when I made your packets, no I didn't. Their rough estimate for our general portfolio, which is the liability in all of our vehicles, they had given us an estimate of 28,000, which is the numbers that I used for budget, and a workers' comp of 26,000. I just got an email from her on Monday, and it's coming in at 26,335 for our general, so a couple of thousand less than what they estimated. And our workers' comp is coming in at 23,999, another couple of thousand less than what their estimate was.
Good.
Our numbers will change because when we take the older vehicle off of the police department and put the new squad on, and that kind of stuff is gonna adjust these numbers throughout the year, but currently, right now, that's what our numbers are.
Okay, motion to approve the contract for the town's vehicles at estimated 26,335 and the other insurance at 23,999.
I'll make that motion.
Estimated only.
I'll
Motion
second.
Dan, second Bill. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? Item approval, I should say, of the motion. Item 15, approval of contract with local government property insurance fund for town's property insurance, and that's $2,994 this year.
Last year
Which is,
was
3,007.
3,073.
So that's down about $79.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with local government property insurance fund for the town's property insurance.
I'll second that.
Motion Kathy, second Patty. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? Opposed. Approval of contract Delta Dental for police department's union employees, dental insurance. The rates are, if it's a single, it's $40.89 per month, and if it's a family coverage, it's $113.73.
That rate, I didn't change from last year. I think it might have gone up a little bit the year before. And that's for only 2 of our officers.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with the dental.
Motion Bill,
I'll second.
second Dan. Any discussion on the Delta Dental insurance policy? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? Opposed. Approval of contract with Security Health for Police Department Union Health Insurance. Initially that was coming in at 17% and it got reduced down to 10%. Is that correct, Judy?
Yep.
Pretty much in line with what I've seen in the health industry. I know my supplemental insurance policy, we want exactly up to that 10%.
I'll make a motion to approve security health.
Motion Bill,
I'll second.
second Kathy. Any further discussion?
I just appreciate that you were able to check with Security Health and bring it down a little bit more. Hopefully next year when the police department negotiation contract is open for negotiations, we ought to be looking more closely at what should be provided for the 2 officers.
Okay, Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. Page 2, as you say. Item 18, approval of contract with Central States Health and Welfare Fund for the Teamster Union employees and non-union employees' health insurance. And that rate is $327.70 per week.
Week?
Per week.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract with Team Care.
I'll second.
Motion Dan, second Kathy, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. Approval of a 3-year contract with Advanced Disposal. I think that finally got taken care of and the language became acceptable for the changes, is that correct?
Did they accept all the changes that we had discussed?
You'll have one you was going to write back.
Well, that was the only thing we had put in there that we, if there was an increase due to new laws or something, that they submitted in writing, and that was missed, but I didn't go back and change it. I mean, I guess odds are they're gonna submit it in writing, whether it's
When
by
the invoice-
email or mail or
They're
something.
gonna want
that's up.
some record keeping on their end.
We're gonna know about it,
Right.
and it's only by law.
I'll make a motion to approve and sign the contract.
Motion Bill,
I'll second that.
second Patty. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I am opposed. And my reason for that is that I was a little bit displeased with how long this process took. I think it got started in March, and we didn't get the actual RFPs out until August. Unfortunate for us, and I don't know if it's the reason for that, or if it was just the environment, we only received one contract proposal. I certainly would have liked more than one proposal, but there we go. So that's my. All right, approval of employees carrying over vacation for 2015 as allowed per the employee handbook. Peggy Dowdy, 24 hours, Chief Bone, 16, Chief Peterson, 40, Rick Austin, 32 hours, want to carry over.
I'll make a motion to approve the carryover vacation.
I'll second it.
Motion Dan, second Patty. What do we typically give them to
March
March?
15th.
March 15th to use those up.
Oh, they still have to use those though by March 15th?
Right, they do, right.
And then is the rate of pay current to this year's versus next year, or is it
It's paid at next year's rate.
next year's rate?
All right, any further discussion? We did get a motion, correct? Okay. Had so many of them, I forget where we are, huh? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed?
I'm opposed. It's because
One
of the
opposed.
last comment.
Item 21, discuss possible Grand Rapids Saratoga Firewise project for 2015. We had the regional meeting between them just recently, and what the DNR would like us to do is to do a mailings to residents that are in the, what we call Section 7 and Section 9 of our plan, which is a little bit of Grand Rapids down to the, I think it would be from Z down to Town Line Road, and then the other 3/4 of it would be Saratoga's. Now, what they're asking us to do is to do a mailing. They will provide all the costs to this, no cost to the municipalities or Saratoga. It's more of a informational letter that they want to address those areas where there's potential hazards from fires, where the residences may help to protect their own personal property by removing some of the brush or debris, or moving things like firewood supplies right that are close to the house to a little farther, more of an informational type thing. And then at that time also offering to do an assessment for them if they would like the DNR to come in and actually do an on-site assessment of their property. DNR would do that as no cost. So this really is, it's a 5-year plan that we're on. We're in our last year of this 5-year plan. And it's again, no cost to us as a municipality. We might have some labor in kind to provide the mailing lists and maybe some of the support work to put the letter together for them. And that would be our only cost to it. So that's what they're looking to do. I need to let the DNR know by in January if that's our wishes to go ahead with doing the mailing at their request.
So they submit what they want in the letter?
They will.
Or is that something that we create?
They'll put the items that they're really looking for to address to the citizens, and we can add to it or delete from it or whatever. So we will have some control over what it is. Obviously, the best for us to do would be to get with them and put it together and have the boards take a look at it.
So you're asking for a motion?
Yeah, I'm looking for actually a no-cost motion is what it is.
I will, so move.
Okay, Bill's moved to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I think I got Dan. All right, so what this is again, no cost as far as outright cost. There may be some internal cost for labor to put it together.
We have, well, we get it done and like, you know, we may hire ODC, we may hire staff, but then they pay us back for that, correct?
Right.
If we hired ODC, they'd pay us back, but if we do in kind, that's in kind.
Yes,
that's-
right.
Okay.
In theory, the project is supposed to be like 50-50, but we can offset our cost to it by supporting staff. Okay. All right, motion been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? All right, thank you. Item 22 then, oh, wait a minute, I missed one, didn't I?
No, 22 is
Oh,
correct.
okay, I got one sitting here that I must have out of order then. Item 22 is set wages for part-time employees for 2015. I think we have current
Yes,
rates
in your notes, yeah.
of part-time is $15.52.
But we don't set the wages for the police part-time, do we? At this
Sure.
part, or is that part of the negotiations of their
No.
contract?
Police
Oh, 'cause they're
part-time
not
are not
union. Okay.
You can either set a dollar amount or you can do the same 1.57 that the other ones were, or you could do 1% or 2% or leave it the same.
And at the same time, then we'd be looking at the snow plowers, which the part-time snow plowers are at $14.93 right now.
So are these rates that you got here, is that 1.5, is that what you
No.
figured?
No.
These are the current rates.
Current rates.
I'll make a motion to set the current wages, to set the wages for part-time employees in 2015 at the current wage plus 1.57% increase. That's the same as what we did the others.
1.57.
1.57?
Motion, Kathy, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Dan, discussion still.
May I
Yes.
ask this question, it's on the wages, but does a part-time snowplow employee have to have a CDL license
If they're driving the truck.
if they're driving the truck?
If they're driving end loaders, no.
And loaders and graders,
And graders.
no.
Graders are no.
But if they drive a truck, they have to have a CDL
And
license.
then we need to do random drug tests on them then too.
They're in the pool.
Cool. Other comments, questions?
What is this beginning of second year, beginning of third year, is this motion covering,
Yes.
Yeah, they would go up by the 1.57
okay,
also.
because then it would be 16, beginning the second year, it'd be 1639 plus.
Plus
the
one.
Plus,
1.57.
right.
Okay,
Just add
gotcha.
1.5.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, Motion been made and seconded. All in favor of the setting the part-time PD wages and the snowplower, part-time snowplower wages at an increase of 1.57%? Say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? Motion is carried.
We're gonna get our roads plowed first.
Item 23 then, set wages for election workers for 2015. Election workers are paid $8.84 per hour currently.
Do we know, I should know this answer, but do we know where that came, was that minimum wage and it just started to grow from there? As far as we know?
I don't know where you started, but since I've been there, it's been you've increased it the same as what the other ones have, you know, our part-time and stuff have throughout the years.
Okay.
I'd like to ask a question.
I will be sustaining just for record. Go ahead, Bill.
Like how many hours does a poll worker work? Can some of them work more than 8 hours?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I do have enough poll workers that we do split shifts. The first shift comes in at 6:30 and works until 1:30, and the second shift does 1:30 until we're done. So yes, there is times. My chief inspector usually works the full day. It's easier to keep track of everything that's going on. And I have had situations like the last general election in November that I needed extra people because of absentee voting and stuff, and so some people worked a 10-hour or 12-hour, and just, it varied.
I would like to make a motion to make that $9 an hour, but I want to know if that's less than 1.57.
Patty, did you figure it out? I saw you running the calculator.
Yeah. It is 1.02.
So $10.02 would be the same, is what you're saying.
$10?
No, I got that.
But
Yeah,
$9.
Says it by 1 point,
Times it by 1.0157.
point,
.0157.
0.0157 times 8.84.
Mhm.
That's 14 cents. And
I'll make a motion, make it $9 an hour.
it's 8.97. So.
Motion by Bill, set it at $9 an hour.
I'll second.
Second by Kathy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? And I guess for the record, if everybody doesn't know, my wife is an election inspector, so I choose not to. All right, then, item 25, approval of resolution.
No, 24.
24, set per diem for plan commission, sorry, that's that, police and fire commission and board of appeal members. Currently, those are at $55 for the chair and $45 for the members.
I'll be abstaining because I'm a plan commission member.
I'll make a motion that we set the wages at $55 for the chairman and $45 for the members.
I'll second.
Motion by Dan, seconded by Kathy to keep them at the current wage of $55 for the chair and $45 for members. Discussions. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed?
I abstain also. I'm a member of the board.
Okay, so we have 2 abstentions and motion does carry then.
Okay, may I ask a question? Which member of the board are you?
So board of appeals, he's on.
Board
Board
of
of
Appeals.
Appeals, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Forget about that board, that doesn't act very often.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out which board that was, so.
Alright, now we're on 25, correct?
You won't let her.
Alright. Resolution 2014-37 is adopting the Wood County All Hazards Mitigation Plan, which is of no cost to us, and it's to assist in any disasters that may come through that would allow us to participate in any of the services of the grants or whatever.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Motion by Bill for resolution 2014-37 as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Patty. Discussions, any?
Yeah, that come down from the county, and there'll be one next month about 9112
Sure.
in participation.
So there was a survey that was sent to, according to this manual, that it was sent out, and am I correct by saying that it was sent out to the board, our board here? But it looked like it was from 2011, and then this is just the result of that survey?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't recall it.
Okay. Because when I was reading through this, it just was, there was a letter that was sent from Steve Cruiser dated June 20th of 2011, and saying that this needed to be, the survey needed to be completed and filled out. Well, then they had the results of the survey written here, and that's what I could just tell from this, that it was finally put together in a format.
It certainly may have been, but
Okay.
I don't recall it.
Yes, it was, and then on the county board, we voted it to send it to all the municipalities for
Okay.
their,
Review? Okay.
So it may have got internally filled out and sent back.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the motion? Was the motion correct? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. Item 26, November disbursement vouchers. Any questions on the vouchers?
Well, this is minor, but I'm just curious. We had almost $500 in Towns Association convention expense, but the convention was in Point. Was it just Bill and Patty who went, or did we have others go, and I just don't know, or?
No.
Just the two.
What would the 500 be? Do you have an idea?
Well, there's
Registration.
registration, meals,
137.
Registration, mileage,
Okay. All right.
meals.
no.
No,
I don't
it's
think they had,
No.
it was a free meal.
Well, did
Included
you have
of the
Hey, you
registration.
get back and
We had a
forth.
banquet,
the banquet? You had to pay for separate though, didn't you?
yeah.
So
Well, that was in there.
Was it? Okay.
I just was looking at compared to last year's. You know, it's more than last year's, and last year's the convention was further away, but I just was surprised, that's all.
But actually driving back and forth, sometimes you end up with,
More mileage?
yeah,
Okay.
All right.
than what a room ends up.
Any other questions on the vouchers?
Okay.
Item 27, operator license applications. Jessica Dzerzitsky, Brittany Krakow, Natasha Nelson. First one is for Buds. Second two are from J.R. Capone's. Now, J.R. Capone's must have one heck of a lot of bartenders by now, or they're not staying home, huh? One or the other.
I see the name a lot.
Is there a motion to approve the one-year licenses?
I'll make a motion to approve the license.
Second.
Second Kathy, motion was by Patty. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. All right, we're on item 28, moving right along. Monthly reports from committees. Public Works. Good, bad news? Good news is the new plow arrived here on Friday. Actually on Monday, excuse me, Monday morning. It should be on by now. The bad news is we spent $13,000 on salt for the month of November, which is a little more than usual. But again, that won't be billed to us until January or February, whenever they get around to it. Salt is, I believe I was told it was $80 to $84 now, and the next time they have to buy salt, it's over $104 or something like that now. Or it's about a,
By 10?
yeah, a ton. So it's going up significantly, so obviously the crew is
Can I ask you a question about salt?
Yeah,
One of the things is, so the salt shed is right next door.
Mm-hmm.
How do we pay for that to the county?
we record the number of buckets that we take out of it.
Okay.
I mean, that's,
That's good.
count the bucketfuls, and whatever our bucket holds, we count that and report to them what we actually taken,
And I have noticed they did sand.
where we could.
Well,
Yeah. Where we could, we tried to use sand as much as possible. Remember, the issue we have with sands is we don't like to have to sweep it up, because then it becomes hazardous material and we have to dispose of it in the landfill. So, the other thing on good news is, remember earlier this summer we talked about pulping off a small piece of town-owned land that was over in the Golden Eagle area, one little area. We received the check for it. It was $2,238 for pulp taken off there, so it was
Is
good.
that cul-de-sac one?
Yeah, it was an undeveloped road, Bill,
Oh,
and the property is actually owned by the Cranberry Company that attaches to us. And we had a small section of where we maybe had 4 or 5 rows of pine trees that were on our dedicated road land that they went and took off as long as they were there. Otherwise, they were going to be spindly things that would blow over in the next wind.
The cul-de-sac one, we got 500?
500 and something, I believe.
600, something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
That was the one in the Plantation Court. Okay. See, the other thing on Public Works, did get a couple of plowing complaints, no more than usual. One poor gentleman seems to feel that he's being targeted, and every year he gets tore up, and I tried to assure him that no, we don't target people for anything, and I says, obviously you're a taxpayer in the town, we're not gonna intentionally come and get into your lawn, which is actually our right of way for the first 12 feet of it, but he treats it like his own, so I apologize again to him for service, and he just feels that we're picking on him. So, any questions on Public Works, anything else? If not, we'll go to Plan Commission. Patty, I don't think you met, have you?
No, last time was November 27th, I think, so nothing's cooking.
I think you're gonna have a January meeting to renew the dog licenses.
Right.
That's all that's scheduled right now that I've heard.
One land use.
And one land use coming up for that too. Right, yeah. Okay, anything questioned for that? If not, we'll move to Public Safety. Kathy, anything?
No public safety meeting. I'm still continuing to work towards completion of a draft for the fire department strategic plan. And then we would reconvene as a strategic plan ad hoc committee. And I'll let you know when that date
Okay,
is.
questions? Airport Commission, Bill?
Yeah, we met November 13th. It was a late meeting after the town board meeting. One of the things we're discussing is the storage shed, the removal of the equipment from the FBO building, and we're putting it and heating it. It's gonna cost around $375 temporary. Another thing we're doing is a 24-hour service at the airport, in which we're going to be utilizing the downstairs for a 24/7. So when pilots come in, they got a place to warm up, and there's a bathroom down there. And so we're working on that. And also the encroachment, we all had a letter about the encroachment. We met with the Bureau of Aeronautics, and they explained to us that the best approach to this would be go through zoning, that somebody is in violation of a zoning regulation, and how you would handle that, so. And Arnie has given me some ideas on what should take place between now and our, next time we meet on that.
Okay. Any questions? Public Buildings, Patty,
And just
nothing?
one thing, Arnie.
Go ahead.
You did have a question when we said about the pay for the, you said I'll bring that up under the airport. When we had that voucher for the amount of money. support of the airport?
No, I was just talking of what I was concerned about was the storage, and what you were
okay.
doing, that's what I was gonna ask you a question.
And we do have a meeting
Yeah,
Thursday night.
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you about. Okay, public buildings,
Arnie and I are going to be meeting tomorrow at 4:45 with Focus from Energy to review needs of the buildings.
and any opportunity for any possible grants that they might have available for us to do some things here or in the future, such as changing the hot water, full-time hot water heating system to on demand, where it would not be heating water for 24 hours a day when we only need it sporadically. So we're gonna look at some of those things and some of the other lighting issues, LEDs, etc. Economic development, Dan?
Actually, yeah, we got, in fact, where I was tonight before this meeting was I talked with Brett, and I'll butcher his last name.
Schussliger.
Yeah, from the YMCA. Obviously, and maybe you saw in the paper that they're doing that partnership with the Aquatic Center with the City of Wisconsin Rapids. And they're just in the development stage on how it's gonna all work and what involvement the city is gonna be in. Again, at first I contacted him and asked him what were the possibilities of Grand Rapids being involved in that also. And he said they would love it and they want other municipalities, not just Grand Rapids, possibly Port, Buren, all of us to, it'd be like a community park or aquatic center, partnering with the YMCA who would run it. Now, they're not exactly sure how this is gonna work. What I did is I just talked to him and says, you know, there is opportunity there, and I guess at this point, what I'd like to do is just pursue it, to see what exactly they would like to sit down and meet and just throw out some ideas on what involvement would be, you know, they don't even have any costs or whatever. They know what this aquatic center is going to be, but how it would affect the residents, how it would work with the different municipalities and city and towns, whoever. So what I'm asking you guys is, this is something we want to look at? I'm just, you know, do you see any negative? I don't. You know, I mean, we have a very large, you know, community that people would use it. Now, I don't know, again, what it would cost, or he didn't either. He had no idea how this is all gonna come together. He just wanted to know if we were at all interested in pursuing it.
I think we ought to look at it. You know, I can't speak for the board or even for the citizens of the town if they have any interest of it, but we ought to at least know an idea what would be involved in it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bill. Question?
Have they indicated where this aquatic center would be?
Yeah, it's connected. It's right across from the hospital.
In the old hospital.
Parking lot.
Parking lot.
It's gonna be they are also, well, it was Riverview, or it's gonna be Aspirus now. They're going to partner with them also. And this is that new YMCA Aquatic Center, the whole complex, you know. Now, they're gonna have the complex itself is gonna be split into two, where the aquatic center is going to be, he called it like condominium. It's gonna be its own entity, because they are going to be partnering with other agencies, where the YMCA portion of it will be the YMCA. So this is definitely in the infancy stages, but I think I think it's very important that we at least take a look at it and see where it could go.
And we do have Reggie scheduled to come in January to put a presentation on for this board. It's a January meeting, we want to put them on. anything else? Any questions for him? If not, we'll move to recycling, solid waste bill, anything?
Nothing, but we're going to be meeting in January on this, to line up the choose to reuse.
Okay. Any questions? Legislative Committee, January, is it 7th or 9th, Judy? 7th will be a legislative meeting,
As long as it's Wednesday,
Wednesday,
7th Wednesday, yeah.
and it will follow court. So court will be over by 6:30-ish, 7. And with, Dan will be here,
7 o'clock.
yeah, likely 7, but
Dan should make it.
the other Dan, the
Oh.
attorney Dan, is what I was referring to though, Patty. But
Okay.
seeing as how you put that jab in, I think we can turn it a little bit.
Get here before we adjourn.
There you go.
All right, and Personnel Committee, anything?
No need to
No.
meet.
Okay, no need to be. All right, item 29, reports from individual board members or staff. Chris, you got something tonight?
Yes, the tax bills are currently at Goodwill, or Goodwill.
Leave them there.
They're at ODC getting postage put on them, and they plan on putting them out in the mail on Friday, so you should have them by Saturday. And as Chief Peterson was talking about having your dog microchipped, there's a coupon in there on the insert from the Southwood County Humane Society for $10 off. So if anybody's interested in that, you can save $10. There's a lot of information in your tax bill this year, a lot of things to read them, good information. Taxes did go down, your net tax is probably down about $6, but your overall tax bill is gonna be up about 11 due to the garbage and recycling increase. So you should have those by Saturday and we'll start collecting next week.
Okay, any questions over? Kathy?
Nothing to report.
Judy? Bill?
Yes, I appreciate Mel's presentation on the dog shooting. I just wish something like that kind of sent shockwaves around the town, that, you know, more of us could have been informed about it. People say, what happened there? And I can only say, I don't know. And, well, you're on the town board, you should know. And I just wish it would have been sooner, but I do appreciate it. And the other thing, I think there was a request for a report on elections. Have you finished that?
No. Actually, I just received the last bill today.
That's
Okay. Ken?
I know.
Patty?
No, thank you.
And I have nothing else. We move to item 30, which is again the public's opportunity to recap anything they wish to speak to us about tonight. Limited to 2 minutes per each, and public comment period to be a total of 16 minutes. How I arrived at that, I don't know, but I guess it must be 2 times 8 is 16, right? Anybody else wish to speak to us this evening on anything? Mr. Hett, again?
Yeah, thank you. Patty mentioned focus on energy. I'm wondering, I'm guessing that probably don't apply to streetlights, because you rent the streetlights from somebody else,
Yeah.
and that's, okay.
May I answer that? We did have a focus on energy here at one time, and they did indicate that these lights should be LED. It'd save us a lot of money, but they're very expensive to do outside.
Well, we pay a fee to water or light, and that's, if the bulb burns out, they replace it.
Yeah.
And they are, I believe, just starting to think about LED, or some residents in the city were asking for them in their subdivisions. And they're, it's coming. Go ahead.
You were referring to security lighting
The lighting outside.
around the buildings.
And inside, Focus on Energy
Oh,
said
yeah.
we should be replacing
Yeah.
our electric hot water heaters with gas here and at the fire station. And we're wasting a lot of money. There was a guy from Plover that was here for Focus on Energy.
What I meant by streetlights were intersections and
Yeah.
stuff, and I,
Oh.
but,
Yeah.
okay.
Nothing changed there yet.
Yeah.
Anybody else? All right, if not, then we'll move to the Item 31, which is to establish next agenda. Has anybody got specific things they want? Or if not, we'll address those. We got Reggie on.
Yep.
If not, I would accept a motion to adjourn from someone.
I'll make a motion.
Motion Dan,
One second.
second Kathy. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Hey.
I'm an aye also. And we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
We can